ended up affecting him. And other like Cheeto Vera's got some small legs. Nate Diaz has some small front legs, and ain't no haterade. It's just the facts. Those legs, like the calves, the nerves, everything's so much closer. I just think that unless he starts learning how to check them, I think it's too late when you're this rich. You're just not going to be that mean guy anymore. And so I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Quick hello. We got Randy Horton in the house. How are you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm just waking up, and I seen you guys had some invites out, and I said, man, if I don't come in here first thing, I would feel like a devil.
Well, appreciate you hopping in. I know it's real early by you. What's it, like 7 a.m. right now?
Yeah, it's a little after 7, but I'm on my first cup of coffee. What's happening, guys?
Yeah, good morning, Randy.
Well, I appreciate you got the sunlight. As you can tell from my window, I got the darkness creeping in on me in the winter here.
Yeah.
Is it February 1st there yet?
Did you did you have it no, February 1st? Not yet.
All right. I'm into the 2nd, so I'm an advanced time zone here.
We got about 5.5 hours for that. We're gonna party. It's Royal Rumble and then February. Let's go.
There you go. It's going to be the first 5.5 hour MMA money show. Where your mouth is. Let's go.
Seriously. Well, that is intense right there. Not going to lie. Well, I mean, if you want to throw in, I know you might not be a huge MMA fan just in general, but I mean, I know he's kind of transcends the sport. Obviously, Conor McGregor just lost in somewhat embarrassing fashion. What do you want to see him do going forward? Randy.
And I'm so lost on that, but it's kind of shameful that he lost because his name throwing it out every time is beautiful. When somebody that big and that tall falls, it's like, oh man, what happened?
I know.
Who do I switch to? I always support the winner. Who's the next guy?
Well, that's a good point, especially when you're talking about trying to hook a casual audience in. I mean, somebody like Conor McGregor loses too many fights. He's lost 3 of his last 4 professional fights, and the only win he has lasted 40 seconds. That's tough to keep that going for people that just kind of like on the outside looking in, like, well, how good is this guy? Like I've called him the Oscar De La Hoya. That's what happened to him at the end too. So
yeah, well, I was going to say for the casual fans, like for someone like Randy, the next guy to watch, like I've said for a long time, is Israel Adesanya.
Yes,
he's just absolutely unreal in the way he strikes. He's the best striker in the UFC by far. There's no one even close to him, and he's just now kind of has that Conor effect.
Yeah, I like it when they all go out as a winner. You see a lot of big fighters, they disappear, whether it's heavyweight boxing or cage fighting. And I like the ones that they're at the top of their game and say, you know what, I'm going to leave that legacy on paper and step down.
Yeah.
Hey, since Randy, since you do a lot of traveling abroad, since I always was fond of Egyptian pyramids and stuff like that. How is the culture and other in like cities like Dubai and Saudi Arabia and stuff like that? Is it a lot of fun to have meals there and stuff?
Yeah, of course. That's why I've gained about 100 pounds.
Depending what you're eating, that's good weight.
Yeah, it's a good food. Actually, the thing that America and you guys are actually throwing out, you don't realize you're throwing out something and you're exporting something that is American. Our culture is the #1 export. And between the fighting and between the music and the words and shows like this right here, this is what America's about. I mean, you guys coming together, discussing things, it's just a wonderful thing, and people really enjoy it, man.
Yeah, and what's cool about Dubai and some of the Saudi places is that they're embracing blockchain technology, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and stuff like that at such a fast level. It's going to be really exciting for the future to see those cities advance.
Yeah, they're embracing a lot of things that we're doing throughout, our society. Even boxing, there's so many things and events that they hold throughout Dubai and throughout Saudi. There's a big event in the U.S. Oh, we need that here. Let's go for it. And that's kind of nice.
100% on that one. I mean, I don't know this really at all because I know I'm not. And I know Real Mike kind of is. I know Mike Gills is. I know Jason himself, Mr. Prime there is. So, Randy, I guess I got to ask you, are you a professional wrestling fan?
Yeah.
You know what? I used to watch only heavyweight boxing.
Who's your guy? Who's your big guy that you followed every fight?
I followed Muhammad Ali when I was a kid, and then a little later, I was into Tyson. But then I kind of got burnt out on Tyson winning every 30 seconds. It's like you get all ready and you're going to the fight, and if you turned around and looked around, the fight was over. So that kind of got old.
Yeah, we were just talking about BJ Penn. When I was growing up, Mike Tyson was obviously like the guy, mid '90s, just doing his tear. But we were just talking about BJ Penn and like watching somebody fall from grace. Growing up, we got to watch that Mike Tyson fall from grace happen in real time. So I'm gonna circle it back real quick. Is just you hope BJ Penn can find a way to have like that hangover cameo second part of his career where it relaunches him. Yeah, that's at least what I'm hoping for anyway. The black box pay-per-view days are over. He was saying like the old 30-second fights. I remember growing up, my dad would always have a bunch of people over for those fights. We'd fill the entire house up. 30 seconds later, boom, everybody's done.
Dude, that black box. But if you had that black box was huge back in the day. If you had that pirated black box and you got the pay-per-view Fury because you didn't give a damn.
Right.
Yeah, but usually if you had the black box, it would be the code would change mid-fight, and you had to call, give me the new code, man, and my box stopped working.
And then the cable company goes on TV and threatens you, like, "Hey, if you have that black box, you better turn that in." That was like the 1990s version of Dana White going, "You better not stream us."
Yeah, see, I never had the black box, by the way. None of my family was ever into combat anything, so we had Bears games, and that's about it.
Here in the Philippines.
What's up?
I'm sorry, I'm over talking.
No, that's fine. I'm trying to relay the chat as we're going, which gets a little tricky. As you know, obviously you have quite the big channel of people hopping in and trying to give questions and stuff like that, trying to hit everybody when you also have several people talking at the same time. It's a little bit of a juggling act, as I know you experience. And obviously your channel is much bigger than ours, but if you would, can you shout out what your channel is listed as? Because anyone in here interested in you, if they could hop on yours.
I'm just a random general channel. I have no schedule. I have no brand. It's just me popping up throughout the day, the afternoon. You never know. And just saying, hey, what's up? I'm over here doing this. Mine is more like the Truman Show, Just tune in. What am I doing right now? I have no real chart. I don't know what's going on. You guys are organized, you're planned, and you're professional. I'm a random broadcaster. Just boom, what's happening?
Sorry, it just got me thinking about the Truman Show. We are a very movie reference centric podcast, so
true.
I got a bunch of things going through my head right now. I'm just imagining you doing your show and a light crashes down from the ceiling. It's just, I don't know, craziness. But
something of that nature, exactly.
Well, we absolutely very much appreciate you hopping in. Is there anything you would like to throw our way, or are you just happy to pop in and say hi, which is obviously much appreciated?
I see you guys. It'd be neat to see you guys cover some international events, throughout different countries. Maybe one day a week, go to Brazil on your live channel and talk about what's going on in Brazil or what's happening in the Philippines. Like I was trying to say earlier, the Philippines is like your boxing, cage fighting capital of the world. These guys are really into it, but I don't think they broadcast enough about it.
Mm-hmm. So you want to see us cover some of the smaller local events for international wise, especially like Southeast Asia.
Yeah, some of the Asian fights are pretty good. I know it's kind of hard to watch the Asian guys fight because it kind of looks like children slapping each other, but they're serious.
But I don't know who was the World War II general who was in the Philippines. Was it MacArthur? I think we could have a MacArthur boxing segment. We'll just throw that up. I don't know.
There you go. That's great.
John MacArthur was awarded all types of different special ceremonial hats and insignia in the Philippines, and he started wearing said ethnic hat in certain Navy, Air Force type situations, which his underlings and peers didn't quite appreciate because he was listed as supreme ruler in there of the Navy. So they didn't go so well on the other side. But
that's a cool title, though.
That's a nice title. Yeah, I'd like to have that title. Supreme fighting leader of the blah blah blah. Yeah.
I wonder if that Twitter handle's taken.
If you have it long enough, it might it's sometimes it's a matter of as long of a name as you could possibly pull off there, and then it's less likely someone's going to take it.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to come in and show my support for you guys. Everybody who's watching, these gentlemen put out a great show. You should subscribe now while you can.
Oh, thank you, sir.
We appreciate you, Randy.
what do they follow now? They follow just the MMA Money Show, or what?
Yeah, if you follow that, or we're hooking up a HAPS team of all of us on there. So if you follow the show, you'll get any content we add to it and anything that the show does.
Stammer was saying his co-worker is an ex-boxer from Saudi Arabia. Whoop whoop. You know, my father was a boxer in the Navy. He was a mean old boy. He actually did quite well.
So was my grandfather. That's cool.
Yeah, my dad was a pretty popular Navy boxer in his day.
Awesome.
I wonder if they knew each other. I just my grandfather was, I'm assuming a similar age. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they knew each other.
Yeah, my dad's in mid-80s, so if he's mid-80s, you never know.
My grandfather, he died years ago, but he would be about that right now. Yeah. So.
All right, that's great.
I'm going to do some research on this. We're going to come back next week and found out that they went to war for 10 rounds against each other.
Yeah, we're going to find out you're actually my stepbrother.
Yeah.
The resemblance is uncanny, actually.
Right?
All right, guys, I'm going to step down and go into the comments. You guys can see MMA Money Show at
Thank you very much.
MMAforMoney Show. They've been up. Follow these guys. Get into the thing. Hello, Jackie. How are you? Sorry, gentlemen. I'm going to abuse your comments for just a second.
It's completely
Abuse women are beautiful. Whoop whoop. Jackie girls here, and you guys know Miss Jackie.
Oh, absolutely.
Mr. British Spy, Lynn. There's so many folks here. I'm sorry I missed your name, but I'm going to go hide into the comments with you folks, and let's let these guys continue their show. I see your number really climbed up all of a sudden. Whoop whoop. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome on that. So everybody,
Have a good
don't
morning.
let the opportunity pass you. Make sure you follow. If you don't follow, it's a sin, and you may go to hell.
I am not I do not condone damnation for not watching the show, but sure.
I do.
You do. Okay, got it. Awesome. Hey, we already got a couple new subscribers hopping in because of you, so very much appreciate that. Thanks for hopping in. We are going to transition from that. Thank you, Randy Horton, for hopping in. That was huge. Help us got some big numbers on that one. Going for a little challenge. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for Mel M throwing in the Got Talent Award and Lynn for the Super Hard Award. That is fantastic. We got 1.3K right now watching live. A lot of that came over from Randy. Thank you so much. About 442 just from HAPS, which is way past what we need, but we are still going to go just for a little bit longer. Boom, another person subscribed. Thank you very much. We want to do a quick overview of how this show became the show for all the new people hopping in. Another subscriber. Thank you, Benedict Sevilla at @whore_watcher. Very much appreciate that. That is awesome. Thank you for that $5 world there, Lynn. That nailed it. I love that. I love that. So we hit what we need to hit, but we still have to go over a few things. This is probably going to be somewhat of a lightning round that we're going to hit. The first section is just going to be me reading it off. I know you're probably getting sick of my voice, and then we're just going to do a little bit between the three of us, and then I'll sign out for the night, and you'll be able to come back to our actual show every Tuesday night at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. That was off the top, and apologize if that's wrong. But quickly, we're going to go into how little history facts discussion so you guys know how did the MMA for Money show get its name. That's the first one. The MMA for Money show is named after @MMA for Money. He's there in the chat if you want to talk to him himself. Jason Jarillo, who is a Las Vegas odds maker and current sportsbook director with over 20 plus years of experience in the casino industry. He was one of the first people in the world to make odds for the UFC. He also gave out winning picks online for 18 of those 20 years, 100% for free, in order to help people make money that he did. From a car payments to mortgage payments, Disney trips are all things he's seen people thanked for. Like I've seen people thank him for all these things through the years. Another way MMA for Money, that's @MMA for Money, Mr. Primetime himself, decided to give back to the industry was this very show. In 2013, Jason created the MMA for Money team. If you've seen us tweet that out, if you haven't, I don't understand what rock you're under, but you've seen us tweet that out. In order to mentor and teach odds making, statistical modeling, line watching, etc. Once again, for free. For like if you ask, that's where Real Mike came up, Tippy in our chat, a bunch of other guys all came up from that. Which then, in 2019, spun off into this show, the MMA for Money show. Jason wanted to utilize his name and his bankroll in order to put a spotlight on people in this industry who had a ton of talent and true deep down passion for MMA. But we didn't have a large name. He's talking about us. We didn't have a large name either in the industry or online itself. We've only been doing this live format for about 2.5 months roughly, but we are very thankful to have found Haps. This has just been wonderful. Haps has exploded for us more so than any other platform we've been on. And we thank everyone on the Haps team. We want to thank Peter and Pablo, Mark and David, Lucia, Brett, Drew, and everyone else on the Haps team. We've seen them hop in our chat all the time, helped us out anytime we had any issue. They made this platform a reality. It's just been crazy. And I just want to tell you guys all that, just base information for the MMA for Money show. And then next up, I want to tell you about how the show started from our view. Okay, so I want Real Mike, how did the MMA for Money show itself start for you? Because I wasn't there on your very first show when you hopped in. So, because reasons. But tell me how you hopped in.
We're talking about the show before this, the real show? Like
let's go with this show.
So the one with you and me, or the one with
we'll go with you and me.
Okay, this show,
the deep cut one, people have to pay for. That one will be on Patreon in years to come.
I guess for a few years before Bob and I got together, or before this show, Bob and I were sharpening our weapons on random podcasts here and there, and just kind of showing off our love for the MMA and stuff like that. And then, MMA for Money Prime reached out to me, knowing that my brother, was a War Machine, former Lions Den fighter, also fought with Phil Brony at Vegas Couture, Extreme Couture, and a bunch of other places. And so he, asked me to come along because he knew that I, could handle myself pretty professionally on the microphone. I know I can get off the handle sometimes, but sometimes it's on purpose. But he wanted me to come in and just be an analyst for the MMA side of it, because I've done wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and I can see, I've been in the backstages of these events. I know a lot of the camps. Eric Del Fiero over at Alliance MMA, Barry Yoshida, one of the best grapplers in the world. Our sensei was Master B over at the arena in San Diego. Just stuff like that. I just knew that my connections were deep enough, and I knew some inside training secrets. Like I have one about Corey Sandhagen that I'll give out soon enough, because I just found out he came down to San D to do some real training. And so just stuff like that. And so I was honored to just be called by MMA for Money, just to help him out and start this show and get it going, because he's just, I met Prime watching him on Twitter. I would watch him just give out NASCAR picks. And I flag stuff in my brain, whether it's I'm training technology for investments, or whether I'm training a patient when I was on the ambulance, or whatever it is. I'm always like trending things and flagging it. And the more I see it, the more that I kind of like it triple flags, and I'm more aware to it. So I'd see him always winning on these NASCAR picks. Like he'd pick 3 racers, and almost every damn time he would win like $1,000. And I'd be like, oh my God, did I start betting on him? And so they were free picks. And so, and so went from there. We got really close. He started mentoring me in cryptocurrency, and thank God I got into Bitcoin and stuff back in like 2016 when it was fairly cheap. And so we've been big into investing. I always recommend that everyone that has a chance to put 10% of their what they make each month, their salary, into some kind of investment, whether it's cryptocurrency or stocks. Please invest so you can change your life. Otherwise, you're going to be the small guy forever. And I know how that feels, living paycheck to paycheck as an EMT. Didn't like it. Either way, Prime's mentored me so far in life, between the cryptocurrency, betting, and all things. We got here on the MMA for Money show now with Bob. Stoked to be here with such a professional person as Bob. And then I met Mikey Gills randomly. Bob had to miss a show. And once Bob had to miss a show, I'm super fucking picky. And he threw out a bunch of names. And I was like, nope.
I threw out 3 names. 3.
There was more than 3, bro. It was like, I felt like the girls were asking me the prom, bro. There's just too many. So either way, so it was 3. And so Mikey Gills was the one that I felt like had it. And then so we brought him in to join the trio, not full time yet at that moment, but he brought him in. I saw he had it officially as the DraftKings guy. And so that now we get into Mikey.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Real Mike, for not only covering the first question, but covering the second question that we were going to get.
Sorry. I
That's
talk.
okay. It's
I
okay.
talk
No,
too
it's
much,
okay.
bro.
It's okay. They led into each other. I understand, but that's why like it was hard to break that part down. But I'll give my 2 cents in a second. Quick, I want to give a shout out. Thank you, Lynn, for hopping in. I know you just recently hopped in for our show. That's a huge $5 award. Thank you so much for that. Everyone else hopping in, thank you. I know we got another one here from Randy for the Great Reporting Award. Thank you so much. Throw even more than that. Tippy's, I mean, not to T Money's even here throwing him. Like, we're just getting. Wow, this is a very profitable show. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Randy, for hopping in for that. And again, thank you to the 1.8K we got now. We got over 1,200 people here live on from Periscope and over 500 hopping in just straight here on Haps. By all means, feel free to hop in and subscribe. We try to keep talking as much as you can. Questions coming in. That will for sure happen going forward, especially in the normal show format. Obviously, this not normal show format. So thank you, everyone, for hopping in. In terms of how the show started, like Real Mike made a good point. A lot of us were doing random podcasts, like I basically it's hard for me to say because some of them don't even exist anymore. But I was kind of a serial podcast guest before this show happened. I think I was on at least 10, some of which still exist or in different iterations. I was on James Lynch's old show, Parting Shot, before he left and started his own thing. I was on the first episode of Best Fight Picks with Best Fight Picks Daniel Levy and did a bunch early on in there. Actually, the first one I did was with James Lynch for UFC 189, and then a few others spattered in there. Like I always, probably every like 6 weeks, I would hop on one of them, and then eventually that turned into this, like an actual show that we were part of. And the Mikey Gills thing happened crazy because like I was just not going to be able to do a show one week, and we used to find one time Prime was able to hop in when we needed him, and few other people, but like we needed something, and there were 3 people that I threw out there. No matter what Real Mike says, there was 3 people. I could list them all right now, but there was 3 people. One of which, the one who I knew the best out of the 3, wasn't comfortable doing it because he's kind of like not walked away from MMA, but he doesn't watch it as diligently as he does now. And I had talked to Mikey Gills, I think a few weeks before that point, and he had said that he listens to the show. So I was like, okay, well, he's knowledgeable at MMA and he knows the format. This could be perfect. And then utterly shocked in the best possible way when I watched the show live that they were on, and he had so much info about DraftKings. And that's something that I know very little about, and Real Mike knows very little about. So if you can it's a new foil to the show that we didn't have before, which was fantastic. And then we talked, I think that week, about first him coming in and just doing a little 5-10 minute segment for DraftKings. But then we're like, you know what? I mean, he has a good just MMA take. He should just be integrated into the show in terms of everything. But that's basically what happened. I gave 2 to 3 names to Real Mike. He was most comfortable with the Mikey Gills one, which turned out to be fantastic. And then we all collectively agreed. And yes, it took probably another 2 months after that, but he got his own animation in there with the amazing pocket watch. So
shout out to my younger brother Brooks for really campaigning for that. So
yeah, well, it's perfect. So,
Yeah, we love you, Brooks. I'm a big fan, bro. Big
exactly.
fan.
Well, so the next question for this was going to be how Mikey Gills joined the show in 3 angles. Well, we got 2 angles of it. Yeah. So I guess we'll get Mikey Gills' take on how he just happened to be on this show and then how it stuck.
So I guess we'll start off with the few weeks before that I did the show and I was talking to you. I actually came to you. I saw you advertising your podcast. I followed you for I don't know how long without even knowing that you had a show. Like I had no idea whatsoever.
In the early goings, we were bad at advertising it because it wasn't to this quality yet, so we didn't advertise it as much.
So
yeah, like now I'm proud to show everybody this quality. I'm like, hey, bro, you see how professional we are now? And they're like, holy shit, what the fuck happened from that to that? Now we go, I don't know.
Well, for me personally, like I don't know. Before I did the show, I didn't have a personal relationship with Bob or Mike or Jay. Nobody really knew who I was. So when Bob asked
we just talked a little bit on Twitter. You gave me some great music advice when I was training for my last marathon.
Oh yeah,
I stalked Mikey Gill's brother Brooks before I met him, I guess.
Well, quick
guy. Good-looking guy.
I really appreciate you talking. We're going to go back to you talking. But recent past guests of the show, literally about 20 minutes ago, Randy Horton in the broadcast, great broadcaster award for $10. Thank you so much, man. That really does a lot. Really appreciate that. So Mike Gills, go on.
Yeah, So when you asked me, I wasn't sure how much you knew about me or my history as far as like anything related to entertainment or MMA
I
or
did
even.
not. That was a pleasant surprise as well.
Yeah, so just a little background on myself. Years ago, over a decade ago, I had a running show on the Insane Clown Posse's radio network, W Fuck Off Radio. It was with my old band that I used to be in, and it was like an actual like band, not like a garage band. We toured around, we did national tours, all that stuff, and we had our own show called the Wolfpack Super Deluxe Fun Time Variety Hour, which still airs to this day, just without me on it. The last time I did that show was back in 2017. A lot of people are familiar with the Juggalo March. It was kind of funny because Randy kept saying whoop whoop, and I really wanted to jump in there with an Insane Clown Posse reference when he said it. But the last episode that I did for that, the one that I thought you might know from, is I was the official broadcaster of the Juggalo March. We held the radio for the entire Juggalo March all day long, 10 straight hours. We almost got Luke Thomas on it. I was back and forth with him on Twitter that day. But as far as everything else that I do, I'm also professional. I don't do it all the time, but I've done professional wrestling refereeing, professional wrestling commentary, MMA commentary. Every single year I do a tournament. It travels around the country. It's called the Wolfpack Bare Knuckle Boxing Tournament. And I've done commentary for that a number of times. Shout out to Juggalo John Cena, the reigning champion. But one day I just get a DM out of the blue from Bob asking me if I wanted to do the show. And sure. I had no idea what you knew, but then he throws me the wrinkle and says, okay, well, I'm not going to be on the show. This other guy,
this fucking psychopath that, you know, his brother's even crazier. He's in jail for life. Yeah, you're going to be on with him.
Okay,
but dude, you're not crazy in that comparison. So, like, if I would give him that heads up, he may think a lot worse.
Let me get to that because that's a wrinkle. So I had to deal with that live on the show. I meet Mike like through the app, whatever, like about 10 minutes before we go to air, and I studied my ass off for that card. I love MMA. I watched every episode. We get about, 15 minutes into the show live, and he throws out that his brother is War Machine. And this is literally like my reaction on the show. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Because I've listened to the show a number of times, and I don't know. I just either didn't pick up on it, or it
doesn't come up every show. It used to come up more frequently. But.
Yeah, we don't. I just don't throw it out there because it's not. It's like, you know, it's not. It really isn't relevant other than the MMA experience I saw before me. It used to be more fun when he was a good fighter and not in jail and an idiot, you know. But it is what it is. You make mistakes, and he's doing great and got Jesus now. So for him, he needed that.
Yeah, but so anyway, we do the show. We knocked it out of the park. No offense, Bob. I thought me and Mike had like a really good episode.
You had chemistry. It was electric. I was looking by Lake Michigan, just looking at the phone, and be like, they're gonna kick me out.
Like Mike was obviously joking when he said it, but when the show was over, he quipped. He's like, Bob, who? Like that. But no, like, so I had to go on vacation the next week with my family, but you guys had said a few things like, oh, well, maybe we can bring you back for another little thing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like trying to play it cool, but I really wanted to do it. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, if you need me, you know, whatever. And then like I came back, we did what you talked about with the DraftKings thing. And then the next week after that, it was, why don't you just like do the entire show? And since then, I mean, we're going on what, like 4 or 5 months now, doing it with you guys, and I'm having a blast. I love doing it every week. It's a lot of fun. And as far as just getting to just the DraftKings portions of it, I think that's a really valuable thing for the show. You guys handle the betting. I don't do any actual sports betting. I only do DraftKings. So it works out for everybody, but I'm having a blast.
No, it worked out absolutely great. And obviously, I want to quick give a shout out to even more people throwing out awards and gifts here. Broke the 2K mark. What's up? Sorry. We got the Safe Award from Ryan. He's thrown out a bunch in there. Obviously, we've always joked that Ryan Richards, Mr. Kick Your Bass, Sugar Daddy, check out his content, Mr. Wonderful Fisherman that he is. And thank you, Jack Girl. We appreciate you too. And yes, Mel M, another high award. I really appreciate that. And Vince Guzman just killing it in the comments there. I very much appreciate that. And we got all these people hopping in. Thanks to Randy and subscribing to the show. Very much appreciate that. I had another one in here, but we don't really need to get into that one. That was just going to be if we were strapped for time, which as obviously you can show we don't usually get strapped for time and need secondary things. Usually we elongate as much as possible. Obviously, we were almost well over twice what we originally thought this show was going to be. So this particular episode. So before I give our sign off, which is going to be a little bit different this week, and explain how things are going to be going forward, I just want to give anyone, either of you two, if you want to give a final sign off, since Mike Gills was able to wax poetic. Most recently, Real Mike, anything you want to say to the people, these awesome people in our chat before we go?
No, I just appreciate each and every one of you. Always wish the best for your families, and like I said, just like people, my mentors taught me, try to invest 10% of your paycheck into some kind of stock or something that you trust, and watch things grow down the road.
I don't really have a sign off so much, so I'll just say I think Edge is going to be one of the first two participants in the Rumble tonight. I think he's going to Iron Man it, Rick Martel, Ric Flair style. I think he's going to go.
Oh no, one second, pause. Sorry, I completely forgot. Okay, so I'll give you you have 3 to 4 minutes to give me a Royal Rumble breakdown if you want.
Oh no, that was my really.
Okay, sorry.
I can go over a bunch of matches, but we wanted
to go into that. I just realized all of a sudden we get carried away and we're getting more strapped for time because we wanted to be about a half hour and no more than an hour, and we're getting close to that. So I wanted to. So if you got anything else you want to give for that, I could knock out this outro in like a minute. So if you have a little bit to go, you can.
No, I just think Goldberg, Drew McIntyre is going to happen, and it would not surprise me one bit to see WWE shoot themselves in the foot again and have Goldberg win it, because that's just the worst move. It's the worst idea ever, and that's what they specialize in.
Goldberg. Don't ever disrespect my dude Goldberg again, dude. He is the best. There's always will be. I don't want to hear nothing. He's better win.
I grew up on Goldberg. I love Goldberg, but the man is 50 years. He almost killed The Undertaker a year ago. He dropped him right on his head. He almost killed him. So, don't let that guy win. But WWE is horrible. They don't know how to make stars anymore. They've been trying with Roman Reigns forever. They finally almost have him. It would be the most WWE thing ever to have him lose tonight. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Goldberg's defense, Undertaker's huge.
Yeah. Okay. What?
It's also professional wrestling. So I'm just going to move past that point and realize, and Mikey Gills, I'm going to throw this out too. You don't have to, but I assume you're watching the Royal Rumble tonight, right?
Yes.
If at any point you want to hop on Haps, and if anybody wants to hop on his thing on Haps for at least a little bit, it doesn't have to be a whole thing. Just if you have any reactions, you can hop in on that, because obviously you're going to speak more of that if I want to.
I don't know if I can do the Haps tonight. I will be on Twitter for sure.
Okay, well then follow him on Twitter at Mikey Gills, and we'll get him doing that stuff going forward. Obviously, we're working on a Haps team situation where all of our stuff will appear under the MMAforMoney show Haps channel that you guys could hop into. And quick, before I even hop into the final segment, again, we broke 2K here. That's fantastic. Thank you for the 685 people watching on Haps and the 1340 on Periscope. YouTube, I don't know what your issue with just one person, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. That doesn't even matter. But thank you everyone in this chat, and everyone that we got another 5 or 6 subscribers in here. So that is awesome. Over 28 awards. The first people we want to thank this week is Randy W. Horton, at Randy W. Horton. He's in the chat still. He hopped on with us. Thank you for at Michael Bathurst. That's BATHURST, and at Mel_M8 right there is our top commenter. Thank you so much. Those are their names on Haps. If you want to subscribe to their channels, they've shouted us out. We're shouting them out. We're going to keep this going. It's going to be like a Haps Friends segment at the tail end. But you can find this show on Haps. If you're watching live there, you know that. You can watch us on Twitch, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, RSS feed, whether it be live on YouTube or live on Periscope, whichever way you want to hop on. That's just the RSS feed. We have the full-length shows on YouTube. So don't subscribe. You'll never miss a show. Like, comment, share, spread the word, everything you want to do. You can subscribe on all those platforms as well. We will be back, technically next week, but we'll be back on Tuesday. We'll be breaking down UFC Vegas 18, Overeem versus Volkov. We are there at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. That time I think I actually nailed it. I'll actually have to write that stuff down. Thank you, Randy, for throwing in all those extra awards at the end. This is also much appreciated. Like, comment, share, spread the word. And with that, let's roll. Johnny Tsunami.